Okay. This is your soul brother Talib, and as you know, I am from the platform of Operation Exodus Mississippi, aka Reality Temple on Earth, which I co-host with our number one soul brother, Angel Snup 7, of course, as you know by now, and no furthermore, introduction on that, as you know who I am, of course, but this video is going to be titled, Why Are Black Americans So Hated? Okay. And what drove me to the decision of making this video tonight, because I was, although anticipating whether I was going to do a solo, since me and the number one soul brother could not do a live stream the day earlier when we tried to, which eventually we will get a chance to do due to technical difficulty circumstances, which is holding us up. We will get beyond that to get a chance to do another live hangout together eventually. But I just wanted to just do this quick solo here concerning, once again, as the video would be titled, Why Black Americans So Hated. Well, I know many of you have talked about for years, even to this day, why so many of us, or rather us as a whole, as indigenous black Americans here in the United States, is so hated by other different cultures, despised, rejected, and so forth and on by different other cultures, especially, of course, the Caucasian races who we've been under for over 400 years in this country. But I would like to say that once again, what made me decide to do this solo tonight was because I had just earlier this evening had a conversation over a long distance phone call with a relative of mine's. And one thing he mentioned to me was, and I'm not going to, because out of respect for his anonymity, I'm just not going to go further into the details of how this information was brought to my attention by him. But he did tell me, though, that there were Caucasians as well as even Arabs, before he had retired, who used to come to him on his job and ask him, why are blacks so much against each other? And he even went as far as saying that when they would question him, they would ask him, why do blacks like to talk about black people or talk against other black people so much when it comes basically to other cultures? Why do they like to talk about other black people to other cultures? In other words, is what he was directly and basically saying during our phone conversation. And I, you know, even though this is not the first time he had discussed that with me, but of course, it just even reconfirmed more of what I already knew as to one reason why other cultures view us in so much of the negative ways that they do view us in this country and also around this world. But I I want to further elaborate on that because yes, that is true. We talk about each other so much to other different cultures and nationalities, and even to the point where we would even go as far as to, you know, uh, you know, influencing as well as encouraging other cultures how to oppress us. And I ain't talking about you know, just on the level of you know, upscale level like politics and stuff like that, which we've always been known as well as in the criminal justice system as well, is how we've been known to work against our own people in this country, especially while when they're doing the bidding for our common enemy oppressor, of course. But they would even go as far as to, you know, coach other cultures on how to harm us, even on the street level. I remember, as a matter of fact, for a good example, I remember years ago when I was living in another state, okay, and I was one day with a Caucasian, and we was just out and about, and we were just out and about hanging out, and so forth and stuff, and we were having a conversation. And, he was telling me, basically that another black American who was from the same, geographic location that I'm from, far as, outside of that state where I was living at when me and him was having this conversation, was saying that the black American would have him, would tell him how he would set up other blacks to leave that geographical location and travel by the Greyhound bus to get to that destination in that state I was living in, and how he would have him personally, how he would set them up to have him personally rob them soon as they got in town, and all that type of stuff. And this was actually a Caucasian telling me this to my face. Like, hey, yeah, this is how your own kind is working against y'all, one way at least. He was flat out just letting me know. This is how your own kind is setting you up to get killed by another different cultural ethnic group of people, or a unquote another race of people. You know what I'm saying? And I've never known other nationalities too much who would go to that extreme, to set their own kind up to be victimized by a black person. I've never known that, especially in a lot of places where I've been at. You know what I'm saying? In this nation. I've never known that too much, or if at all, too much to occur. unless it was a serious situation where some other race, someone else who's a fellow member of their race, really, was being disowned to the point where then they didn't care what happened to them. But usually you don't see other nationalities going against their own kind like that. And like I said before, basically, I when I saw that and I heard about that, as far as what he was telling me, when he was explaining, going through basically the details of how, like I said, that this soul brother who was from my location geographically would, have other people set up by having them travel on a Greyhound bus to get to the particular area in that state where I was living at, and have him to, rob them once they got in town, like I said before. And I mean, this is a common occurring thing with black people. I remember even growing up on the East Coast where, black Americans would, go along with Puerto Ricans and other groups of people against other black Americans. You know what I'm saying? And I was raised actually even to the point where I experienced this, as well as this happening in general. I seen this. So when the white boy was explaining this situation to me, he definitely was not lying. You know what I'm saying? He was not lying. And I could believe basically him telling me that. I could believe him. And I could see him actually not, lying, as well as the fact that I could see him being truthful about that. Because like I said, that's a common occurring thing going on with black people. When they work against their own kind. I see these other nationalities here, Jamaicans, Cubans, you know what I'm saying, Colombians. They don't even go against each other like that for another culture. Especially when it comes to even when it comes to negative things like crime or the drug trade. They don't even go against each other like that, especially not for a black American, And so, it's like, and on other levels, like I said, we are known to go against each other for other people, to the point where other people feel like they ain't got to respect us. Where they feel like they got to, they could just do anything they want to do. They don't feel like they got to respect us. Even because of that type of situation. And this is one reason why people have so much animosity and hatred toward us. And that's a fact. This is not something that's made up or that I'm making up. This is actually a true fact. And it's definitely documentaries, I'm sure, throughout social media that you could go and research, on what I'm talking about in this video, because this is actually a fact. That this type of stuff exists among us as indigenous black Americans. And see, I'm going to point out something too. As I was even talking with my uncle, and we were discussing, that situation or what he was telling me about, and I had brought up something like this to the effect like, well, we are headed in the direction where we could possibly be exterminated like the so-called Native American Indian got exterminated. And the reason they got exterminated, as we know, because they were so divided as tribes, even before and upon the Europeans' arrival to this land now presently called North America today. And, they were so scattered and divided among each other that this is why the Caucasian was even furthermore able to divide and conquer them, as well as to the point where they were able to totally wipe millions of them out. And it's even less than a fragment of them, of that many tens of millions of them that exist today. Just to show you how much they were destroyed to the point of extermination. And, this is the direction. It's only like, 40 some million, or some say 36 million black Americans living in this country. I mean, it's not that hard for us to end up in that same position. Out of 300 some million people versus us being 44 or down to 36 million people, it's not that hard. For something like that to actually happen to us, which I wouldn't want to hope that to happen to us. But the reality of the situation is that if we do not, turn this situation around as far as being so divided among ourselves, that will possibly eventually end up happening to us. Well, we will be actually exterminated like the Native American Indian was, and we won't be the first nor the last, like I've said before in other videos I've made. And I mean, this is just a fact. And the thing about it is that we're so against each other to the point where, like I had mentioned yesterday, it was a brother whose videos I plan on continuing on watching, and he's known as Dr. Nelly Fuller Jr., and it's alleged that he said that black Americans are better off not even talking to each other. And I could agree with that because of how so divisive our mentality is toward each other, especially, coming from the influence of historical chattel slavery, which still carries on with us to this day as a people in this country, But like I said before, we better off not even talking to each other. And that's just the straight up plain out truth, even if he did say it. It's definitely the truth. I would and I'm gonna tell you something, I don't even really spend too much time around, today, intertwining or mingling with other black people. And it's definitely for a reason, especially the ones that's not on the same level page that I'm on, far as the same, having the same similar way of thinking, and stuff like that, and there's very few, especially like from the platform I speak from, that think like I do, and it's very few of us and many of tens of millions of black Americans that live in this country. And it's sad, but it's just the reality, because like I said, how so much we are divided against each other, and I honestly, you know what I'm saying, I really, like I said, we have no no togetherness. I mean, we so, and then we wonder why we're so hated by other people, so despised and rejected by other people. I mean, when other people see us not giving a care or not liking each other, that's the way they gonna treat us. Now, I agree with something I heard before, that even if we do come together under this racist systemic system that we are under as an oppressed people, that still won't stop the racists from having their way against us. But if we unite, I mean, even if we come together under this system in an attempted manner, like we tried to during the civil rights movement, the racists will continue still doing whatever they feel like they want to do to us or can do to us. But if we get a state under our control, if we get control of a state, like me and someone on this platform been talking about for the longest, if we could get a state like Mississippi, or get control of a state like Mississippi, and then, eventually work our way toward getting control of a couple of other states along with Mississippi, where we'll nearly have a country of our own, then we'll be more unified to where we could be protected against onslaught attacks coming against us from different cultures. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about the kind of attacks that will eventually lead to complete genocide, far as Black Americans are concerned in this country. But I wanted to bring that up because that's one reason why it's so important for us to have a settlement that would separate us from all this madness that we experience. That's why separation, in fact, is important. And those who do talk about separation, of course, I'm talking about those in the pro-Black conscious community that always talk this pro-Black stuff and all this pro-Black rhetoric that goes with what they talk about. And when they want to scream about separation, at the end of the day, they really are just trying to live comfortable around the races. They trying to be comfortable under the system of this systemic racism. You see what I'm saying? So they not really, in all actuality, for separation. That's something they claim. That's it. But we really want this from the platform that I represent. And that's what separates us from all that pro-Black conscious rhetoric and that other different rhetoric that Black people talk about that still ain't got us nowhere and ain't gonna never get us nowhere, obviously, as a people in this country, So, like I said before, we are in a position where we can actually be exterminated because of our own self-hatred that's so deep amongst us as a people in this country. And when you want to talk about self-hatred or accuse someone like myself from this platform of having self-hatred because of the way I speak passionately, against the wretchedness of Black on Black oppression in this country, it's a whole lot different from as to when we really demonstrate Black self-hatred toward each other. We trying to get you up out that mentality. We trying to help raise your awareness to get up out that mentality. We not gonna, drag you to doing it. because you grown men and women. You could do what you want to do, but I'm just saying, we trying to get you up out of it. But I'm just trying to get you to see the actuality in the fact that these people don't want to tell you how we're so divided amongst ourselves and how we're so, geared toward having self-hatred toward one another. They just only want to accuse people when they don't have no facts, but they don't really want to tell the truth about them being the ones that demonstrate self-hatred. You see, all we do is get on this platform and try to help you understand by talking about the wretchedness of what goes on with black people. You see, we try to help you to understand so that hopefully you could wake up and come up out that mentality. You see, if you really truly want freedom and liberation from the racists, okay? And that's all I'm just saying, And, like I said before, as I point out, and as I will keep on pointing out in this video, and as well as in other future videos that I make, that I actually, I could see us ending up in that position of where the Native American Indians ended up, which was being just about totally wiped out in this country. Like I said, it ain't even a third fragment of them out of the tens of millions of them that was wiped out in this country. It ain't even a third of them left around. And you could just count on your 5-finger hands the many that are here and actually be able to locate them even as tribes. But see, we're so scattered around and we have the numbers to where we could actually come together and take control of a couple of states and then actually even possibly take a whole country in a way that would be legal. You see what I'm saying? In an actual way that would be legal. But see, we don't think on them type of levels because we're too childish in the mind. You know what I'm saying? We always talking about what our ancestors did in the civil rights movement and even going further back before that. Well, then we need to be trying to do something even better and greater than what they had attempted on doing. Because obviously, and no disrespect to the ancestors, but they failed us. So if we do what we need to do and do it greater than what they did, it is a great possibility that we will be able to be successful in taking control of a state like Mississippi, where we can quarantine ourselves and protect ourselves, our women and children, and each other from all this oppression that we have coming at us from all these different other groups of people in this country. Because right now, we don't have no respect as a group of people, and we want to individualize things like that's gonna mean something. That don't mean nothing. I don't care how much you think on your job because some cracker think that you one of their best employees and you get treated in a certain way, to make you feel like you got some kind of favoritism going on. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, when your 9-to-5 job is up, you are still the N-word. When you get ready to go home, when they get ready to go home to their families, and while they among themselves, you still the N-word, you still a slave, and all that. Trust me. Why you think it's so much discrimination or racial discrimination in the job market? in this country. That has something to do with it. I mean, I'm just pointing out things just to let you know of what the real reality situation is that we're under as a people, and why we so much, you know what I'm saying? Why we so much divisive toward each other, especially when we can't even agree, and then of course when we can't even, you know, overcome our differences when we disagree on something to the point where we fall out with each other, when we disrespect each other, just because we disagree with one another about something, you know what I'm saying? And other people see this going on, that even makes it worse on us. Whether we want to realize it or not, that even makes it worse on us. So, you know, like I said before, this is why other different nationalities look at us in the negative light that they do. I'm talking about even the African immigrants, the black immigrants from the Caribbean, even black immigrants that come from Latin America. You know, they don't even respect us. Other different black and brown groups who come to this country don't even respect us. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Even the so-called Native American Indian don't respect us. Yeah, I forgot about that. They even exhibit racism toward us, or so-called racism toward us. Okay, so you know we don't have, as in the words of John Henry Clark, we don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why we're so much against each other. This is why we have no friends, you know? Because everybody see how so much against each other we are, and how we won't come together to make them willingly understand that they got a united front to contend against when it come to them trying to have their way. You see what I'm saying? But this is why they're so against each other. And when it comes to the point where you have another ethnic group of people, or someone from another ethnic group coming to question you, as in the case of my uncle, as an individual, about why your race are so much against each other, you know what I'm saying? That's a very alarming situation. When you have other people coming to you, questioning you about why your race so against each other. Why is your race so against each other to the point where they got to talk about each other to other different nationalities? You know, and that's just crazy. But that is actually the truth. You know, and like I said before, you know, they would never, ever respect you long as they see that. So, you know, like I said before, you know, people can, disagree or feel like, what I'm saying is a bunch of bull crap or whatever. But all I could say is this. Just look at the facts. Do your research, especially as many of you say you do in black social media. Do your research and research to see what I'm saying, whether it's the truth or not. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the truth don't need no support. It could stand on its own alone. But all I'm just saying is those of you that criticize what we say from this platform as being a bunch of rubbish or whatever, all I just say is go do your own research. That's all I got to say. Especially those of you that claim to have the knowledge, the supreme wisdom, the supreme understanding, and that you do your research and all that, well then do your research and see what I'm saying. And then you be the judge from there. You let that evidence be the judge from there. I just say that. Okay? You let that evidence be the judge from there to determine what I'm saying, whether it's the truth or not, you know? But all I'm just saying to you is that this is the real deal, Holyfield, as they would say. You know, we have a situation going on right now to where don't nobody respect us. And that's why they so much against us. You know what I'm saying? This is why they're so much against us. Because we don't have no love or respect or unity among ourselves. We don't even protect our own elderly. And you know, even during the conversation with me and my relative, he had even brought that up, that one thing about other people is that they do protect their elderly. Something that black people don't do. We don't even protect our elderly. The most vulnerable people it is. We don't even protect them. They on their way out of here. And we don't even show them enough love and respect to even do that for them by protecting them. In the community, we let them get raped. We let them get killed, robbed. They can't even go out there on their front porches and feel safe. You know what I'm saying? As you call in the black community. They don't have no, you know? And so, I mean, how do you expect other people to look at you and respect you as a you know, group of people when they see all this divisiveness going on among us, you know? So like I said before, you know, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, actually, you know, we have no, you know, no one cares. If we don't care for ourselves, why should other people care? Why should other people take Black Lives Matter serious when we don't even take Black Lives Matter serious? You know? And I've been saying this all along. You know, whether you want to accept it or not in terms of the truth is what I'm saying. I mean, all you got to do is just sit back and let the evidence speak for itself. You know? But I'm just trying to help bring y'all conscious awareness to that. Where we could move on to bigger and better things in terms of what we really need to do. As far as taking control of a state where we can have protection from all this bull doodle. Where our elders will have a place where they could feel safe and secure. While women and children could be in a position to where they could feel safe and secure. Where we could be all together as one in a position where we could feel safe and secure. You know? And that's what it's all about. It's not just about some of us or just a select few of us. You know what I'm saying? You know? Because we don't want to have nothing to do with other people because of their sexual preferences or because they darker skin or lighter skin or, you know what I'm saying, because they have a disability or because because they're a drug addict or alcoholic or nothing. No, we all, as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, deserve to be free from the races. Okay, we deserve to be free from racial oppression. We deserve to have something better than what we find ourselves in right now. We do have a right to have something better than that. going for us, you know? And for us, like I said, to judge each other, you know, like in this pro-black conscious community where people are always saying, well, you know, I'll be willing to come together with some of us, but all of us I can't come together with. But you want to say that we love black people. We love all black people. Well, stop saying you love all black people if you feel that way, if you can't come together with some of us because you don't like something about us or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Well, stop saying that you love all black people, because when you demonstrate that hypocrisy, you actually lying to yourself, well as to others. You know? So, like I said before, at the end of the day, we got to really get real with the decision on whether we really want to be a free people for once and for all, or we want to languish in the position that we are in, as being subservient slaves. And that's just the reality of the situation. Whether you want to accept it or not, it like someone say, it is what it is, So, I mean, I'm not finna sit up here and sugarcoat what I'm saying. I'm not finna sit up here and say that, well, I'm going to just tell this part of the truth. And no, if I'm going to tell the truth, I'm going to tell it all, just like it is. Even like the Quran say, accept the truth, whether it's for you or against you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality of it. I'm not finna sugarcoat nothing and play no games with y'all. We too much in a dangerous situation where we in fact are headed to the point on the path of extermination if we keep going the way that we're going as indigenous black Americans in this country, And I mean, like I said before, with the fact that we have everybody else so much against us and that are so hateful of us, is because it has a lot to do not just only with the races, but it also has a lot to do with our own doing negatively toward each other, and I mean, I'm not fin to just stay quiet on that and not let that be heard from this platform. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, or from this solo panel that I'm speaking from, I'm not finna sit up and, and just let that go quiet, because that is a serious problem among us. And one way to deal with this is take control of a state where we could really, eliminate that problem. Because we take control of a state where we could gain some power. People respect power more than anything. And I don't care what you say. I don't care how you look at it. Anywhere in the world, not just this country, people respect power. Okay? Not based on how much money you have. You can have all the millions of billions in the world. Look at Bill Cosby. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Prince. They was even trying to work on the late Kobe Bryant, trying to take him down years before he passed on, I mean, they don't care about how much money you got. You still the N-word, but have some land. Have a military or a National Guard behind you. Have a state behind you, even to the point if possible, of having a whole country behind you, and see how all that would change. in a quick hurry, quicker than you could snap your finger. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why, like I said, or like it's been said, rather to say, is that why they say having land is so important. You see what I'm saying? Just like when the Europeans arrived here to North America, they saw the importance of conquering this land. Even though they had to get a bunch of us to slave to help build this, to build upon this land that we still live on today, to this very day. But they knew the importance of having land because they knew how much, power and respect that could be gained from it if properly carried out in the right way as far as maintaining the land. And today, this applies to even our plight in terms of if we could come together and take control of a state like Mississippi. It is important. That is, having land is very important. You know what I'm saying? It's just like this. All these other nationalities and groups in this country, even the immigrants, if they really get tired of what's going on here and they really want to leave, they got a country to go back to. We don't even have a country to go to. You see what I'm saying? So even whether you want to, whichever way you want to look at it, the fact is that they even in a more better position than we is. They have, if they want to go back to their countries where they came from, they got a place to go back to, just like the Jews. They get tired, they could just go to Israel. The Germans get tired, they could go to Germany. The Italians get tired of what's going on here, they could go back to Italy. Saudi Arabians get tired of what's going on here, they could go back to Saudi Arabia. The Chinese get tired of what's going on, they could go back to China. We don't have that option. We're countryless. We're people without a land. And that does make a whole lot of difference. Because we are people without a land means that we are definitely a people without respect. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was in the words of the late Honorable Marcus Garvey, if I'm not mistaken. But I recall that being said, basically, whether it was by him or not. But that is definitely the truth, And like I said before, we are people that's landless. And that's another reason why no one respects us. So, like I said, I don't want to keep rambling on, but I just wanted to just throw that out there and let you know that, hey, we got to really understand the power of what carries along with that respect, and if we really want to be respected as a people, we got to start, like I said, by putting ourselves in a position and not being so divisive among each other to where we can be respected by other people. Because as it stands now, don't nobody respect us. We're still even looked at as 3/5 of a human. And how low, like someone used to say, can you go? Like Public Enemy used to say, how low can you go? You can't go no lower than that, And with that said, I'm going to send, first of all, my shout outs to our number one soul brother, Angel Snup Snup 7, and to our sister, Noble Levine, and other people on our platform and those who truly support our platform. And hey, I mean, all I could say is we need to wake up as a whole, you know, because as they say, having power and respect takes you a long way. And with that said, I'm Aldi 5000 and peace.